We're moving on. Unit 8, Intermediate Course, Headway. There are a couple of questions for you to activate them. Try to answer the questions, try to imagine the word, try to repeat the word several times, and even make up your own example to make it effective. Don't forget the words, try to use them. This is the only way to improve and enrich your vocabulary, to speak fluently. What's SAT? What does it stand for? Have you ever taken TOEFL test? Do you like to score or to grade some works? Do you remember when you were given admission to some exam, test? When did you last apply to some college? Do you like backpacking? Where? Why? Do you have to take care of anybody? Would you care for a cup of coffee right now? Maybe tea? Chocolate? Have you ever got lost? Under what circumstances? When did you last have food poisoning? What caused it? What did your body disagree with? Have you ever been furious with yourself? Do you have a reliable friend? Do you have a pair of gloves in your glove box? Do you like when something matches something? So, for example, your scarf matching your shirt, for instance, or maybe some coat. Is it possible? How often do you have a nosebleed? What do you do then? Give me 3 forms to bleed. How can we stop the hiccups? Have you ever bitten your nails? And how did you quit that terrible habit? Can we kick it? If you won $1 million, how much would you give away and how much would you donate? If you won $5 million, would you go on a spending spree? Have you ever gone on a spending spree? Why not? What's an affordable price for a car for you? Do you care about affordability? Do you like to show somebody around, maybe some foreigners? Can you make an omelette? What do you need for that? When did you last stay over? What are the synonyms, by the way? Have you ever seen a sparrow inside your apartment? Do you like snails? Do you usually get tied up to the ground? Why? Why not? Do you like to bet on something? What's your unluckiest bet? Do you agree that misfortunes never come alone? Can you prove it? How often do you fantasize? What's the synonym? Do you care about economic circumstances in Ukraine? What could be done to change the situation? Haven't you ever worked in a team that you couldn't fit together? And what did you do about that? Did you quit, or did you try to do something to tune in? Is that generally possible? Have you ever had a windfall? Would you like to have it, to win it, to find it? Do you like to publicize yourself, like me here? Is it important? Do you like begging letters? Do you have a familiar psychiatrist that you can always turn to for help? What's the synonym of psychiatrist? And one more question. So why do you think that going to a psychiatrist or a psychologist in general, well, regarded to be kind of not very great experience in a country? Do you think it's a problem with mentality? Your opinion on that, please. Do you know anybody who dropped dead of a heart attack? What should people do to avoid it? Have you ever tried to get rid of some bad habits, like biting your nails or something else? Do you like to blow or to squander your money when you have some extra, let's say? How often do you have to withdraw cash from ATM? What was the biggest amount you withdrew on one occasion? If you, let's say, imagine that you lost or squandered a lot of money, would you have some regrets about wasted fortune? Could you possibly abandon a person in trouble? If you're in a hurry, let's say. If you just do not want to participate. Do you usually buy a lottery ticket just for the excitement of thinking about winning, not for the real value of winning? Do you prefer bank loans with high or low interest rates? Let's move on. What's your pay? I don't hear the answer, so it's okay to ask you this. Do you have the overtime pay if you are, let's say, obliged to stay longer and to do some extra time, especially on the weekend? Have you ever been at a stock market or stock exchange? Do you know any banks or companies that went bankrupt? Have you ever enjoyed collecting coins? Are you an economical person? What's the difference between economic and economical? Hope you understand. Are you wealthy? What's your favorite taste? So could you name all of them? What can be an inexhaustible source? Could you give some example? Do you often have filthy hands because of some physical work? Are you often thrilled? Can you remember any really hilarious joke? Or it's impossible. Maybe you've heard some. Try to translate it into English and tell me next time, okay? Do you like to appeal? Have you ever had to make an appeal to somebody? On what occasion? Can you possibly give some example of an incurable disease? What do you think about animals shelters? Are they important? Are they needed in general? Maybe you think they're essential. Who should support them? Now, the most difficult words in the unit is conscience, conscious, and consciousness. What's the difference between conscience and conscious? In spelling and in meaning. Try to explain and try to put it down and check them. Who are the prisoners of conscience? Do you remember any? Do you like when management puts pressure on their employees if they are lazy or not hardworking, idle? What are you dedicated to? Do you know any wildlife reserves in Ukraine? What are the current global threats to our environment? And maybe the final question, have you ever advocated anybody? All right, so in social English, we were learning how to make suggestions and how to react positively and negatively. So try to remember this material and, well, offer me something. Can you offer me to go, for example, for a walk, to have a picnic? Can you offer me in several ways, okay? Could you give me some advice? What would you do if you were me, right? Okay. So could you give me some negative advice? So you think that it's not good to do, so try to. All right? So try to react in a positive way. Okay, why don't we have a little watch on TV, or why don't we just go for a walk into the park today? Okay. Could you possibly borrow me $1 million? Just for a month? Okay, I hope the reaction was not very positive, but try to stay polite. All right, you have a problem and I'm kind of giving you advice and you try to react to this according to yourself. Well, for example, you have a problem at work and my first advice to you is, why don't you change your job? It's so annoying. Your action. All right. Okay. Hope you enjoyed this revision. See you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.